I didn't know who that. I didn't like people creeping about building community and preserving culture. And, part of our culture is also athleticism and football. And, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, there's no team that, okay, well, Mayor Sherrill will be so proud of you. You spelled it correctly. But the Cowboys represent redemption. They represent redemption. As black people, we've been on the wrong side of, the right and wrong side of history. We've been oppressed. We've been castigated and maligned. So there's no other team that represents black history more than the Dallas Cowboys. So, well, you all ate your Wheaties this morning. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our moderator. It's Mr. Aaron Bass. He's an esteemed community leader. He's a diehard, Dr. Aaron Bass, I stand corrected. He's an esteemed community leader. He's an ardent and resolute supporter of the library, and I can't think of a more diehard Eagles fan than Dr. Bass. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Aaron Bass.
Eagles fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Thank y'all. So, I'm not sure if y'all heard, because Jamar hasn't watched TV since 1996. But the Philadelphia Eagles just won a Super Bowl, their second one. So, we in the building. And I want to give a special thanks to Jamar, Carl, the entire library staff for thinking to plan, one, during Black History Month, but also they knew months in advance the Eagles were about to win their second Super Bowl and plan for this day for us to be here. So without further ado, we're going to bring up the man of the hour, the talented, incomparable, the number one pick in the NFL for the Atlanta Falcons, the first African-American to ever do it, the first person to ever score 1,000 rushing yards in a season, and retired after 13 years as the rushing record holder for any quarterback in the entire NFL. Welcome to the stage, Mike Vick.
Mike Vick, take the field, make it look like trouble. Everybody, four quarters, got their hands in the air.
Mike Vick on the field, yeah, he putting in work. Since day one of training camp, he been up on the.
My man Jamar is bold. He really said that. He really said that.
You should ask him.
Man.
Ask him about a player. Just ask him to name any players, and you'll see how far that Dallas love goes.
Dak.
So we're going to jump into it. For Mike Vick, one, you have been one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. Also, and I think for your rushing, a dual threat quarterback, throwing and running, which is also something that's been big for a lot of black quarterbacks. So being an Eagles fan, looking back at like Randall Cunningham, but you put your mark on it, and a lot of people in the NFL weren't taking black quarterbacks, especially number one pick overall. So what is your legacy in the NFL as we watch Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, as we watch Lamar Jackson, we watch so many black quarterbacks and now have access to being premier deals, number one in the NFL. What's your mark on that?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the NFL and I smile every week, every Sunday, Monday, Thursday. when it's taking place, to know that I took part in that and helping change the culture. But there was a lot of guys that came before me who helped change the culture and help the growth of the National Football League in terms of, what it may look like, at certain positions. And I don't take it for granted being the first African-American quarterback drafted. It didn't hit me at the time what was actually happening, but as the years go on, I feel a great sense of entitlement to, feel good about, that moment and what it meant for, our history. And so, I embrace it, and I always tell people that it was a credit to the NFL too, for the people in the NFL for, making the decision. They made the decision. They gave me an opportunity. They said, "We believe in you. We'll give you the keys to the franchise." I thought that was special.
We're going to dig into that some more. So we're going to go through a couple different just portions of your life. And so I want to start off with Newport News. So Mike Vick and also Allen Iverson, same town in Virginia, Newport News. What was it like growing up in Newport News?
It was really cool growing up. If my kids knew how I was growing up, they'd be real envious. The games we got to play, the people we got to be around, the culture that was created within your neighborhood, the people who took care of you, the guardians, so to speak. I was just always into something, and I figured out how to fish at the age of 9 years old. For my 10th birthday, saved up some money, got a fishing rod, and it just kept me it kept me on the straight and narrow. It gave me something to look forward to when I got home from school, finish your homework, go fishing. That was like my regimen if I wasn't playing football or playing some other sport. So, growing up in Newport News taught me a lot about life and taught me how to handle life and deal with situations. And when I got to college, I was able to adjust. And, I'm afraid of that for my kids because they're growing up different. I'm just being real. And, hey, man, I see my man right there with the NSU jacket on. Stand up. You the man. You the man.
We got a few of them in the house, too.
I just spotted that, but, he stand up with his, too. It's all good. I appreciate y'all. But, is it her, too? What's going on?
The Norfolk time is at the end of this interview. We move into that. Y'all got time for this. We got you.
No, I just noticed that, and it felt really special. I felt a connection from here.
So it's also called Newport Nam. And so
I wanted to mention that, but I didn't want to.
No,
I don't want to be negative right now.
I think it's interesting because
unless I have to.
No. I think look, I grew up in West Philly.
But let's reference that.
And so for how I grew up is important to be the man who I am today.
Yeah.
Because even though I grew up in the same section that Will Smith talked about and everything else, I know that I had to overcome a lot to be where I am. And now my children, I don't know how to parent children that grow up with passports. It's been an interesting experience for me. I know what it's like to not have food. I know what it's like to hear certain gunshots. I know what it's like to have a crack house across the street. But when you live in the suburbs, it's a little bit different. When your kids aren't starving, when you're looking at private school options, it's different. And so it's interesting because what you talked about was it was community. There were people in the neighborhood. You had people around you, and it's interesting at the same time is also in Newport Nam, which is a name that was given to Newports being like Vietnam. What was it like? What was going on?
Now, that was scary. Mm-hmm. It was scary times. 365 days in a year, so like 147 days I'm walking around a little worried. Whether I'm worried about myself, I'm going to be worried about my little brother or my little sisters playing out front. I know who's carrying guns. I know who's, doing what they're supposed to do and who might be up to no good. Just a product of the environment. And so, I'm just going back for a minute because I always reflect back on these moments because I felt like it shaped and molded me. I was always just aware of my surroundings and like had a goal and I wanted to accomplish something. And I go in the house, I look at my mom and, sometimes I know she's struggling. And I'm like, you know what, one day I want to make some money. But in setting those goals and wanting to accomplish certain things in life, it's like, it's so many sacrifices. Oh, no, I can't sell drugs. I can't take the package over there. It might be an extra $20 or $30, but damn, I might go to detention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like sacrifices like every turn, but I loved it because it was a challenge, and it paid off for me one day. You know, my grandmother knowing my goals and like my mom knowing what I wanted to become in life. One day it finally hit him, and my mom was like, you about to accomplish your dream in life. I was like, Mom, the things that I sacrificed to be here was so worth it. And so hopefully I can just pass those messages along to my kids and to generations of kids who might be in this crowd or who might be playing for me at Norfolk State University. You know, it's for me to pass those messages.
And so, tell me about your parents. So you were named Mike. Your father's name is Mike Bodie?
Yeah.
And your mom's name is Brenda Vick.
Yeah.
So tell me about your parents growing up.
My parents was, you know, sometimes they showed affection, sometimes they didn't. A little crazy at times because, you know, sometimes my father would be stuck in his ways and there was conflict. And I questioned like what's really love, you know, in a relationship. I'm a young man. I'm real observant. I'm paying attention because I know I'm a young man. I'm like, I know how I would hold my girlfriend's hand if I could take her to the candy store right now and I had a couple quarters to buy her something. I probably would hold her hand and walk in. I don't see that in the household sometimes, and it's like learning a lot, being real observant, you know. One of my coaches always told me, like, you know, being observant, I was real quiet, but I was always just paying attention. And sometimes I wouldn't express my thoughts, so I just try to take everything in myself. And then, you know, I express it in different ways later. It ain't always go too well, but I just knew that, you know, they had a relationship that was, like, rocky. I was like, you know, one day I'll change that.
So, and you did. But let's get into, so where'd you get your athletic prowess from?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad. Well, my mom can run. When she's afraid of dogs. And if like my mom, I own dogs now. My mom she's at my house right now, and she just really quick. Like, she hurt her knee a couple days ago, too.
But she probably still
she
take
got
you.
some athletic, trying to get away from the dog. But my dad was like a track star, football star, had an altercation in school and lost a scholarship, but was probably one of the best athletes in the school, so it certainly came from him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you then end up, you're in high school, you're a Warwick Raider, which is where you start to then become this incredible athlete. I mean, you've been an incredible athlete, but a lot of people have taken more attention and noticing. Then you move into Virginia Tech, become a Hokie. Why'd you pick Virginia Tech?
It was convenient for my mom to get there. Having my mom in the crowd was like a safety valve for me. You know I could make a mistake in front of her and I can explain it to her. Everybody else ain't. But if I can go to my mom and be like, Mom, this is why. She understood football enough, so she was like my biggest supporter. Never missed a game in Little League, never missed a game in high school, never missed a game in college. And so I wanted to keep that going. It was important for her to be there. And so all these amazing schools was recruiting me, and I really couldn't go where I wanted to go because, you know, Syracuse was really far. I knew it was going to be flights. You know, I'm paying attention to everything. I know mom's struggling. Georgia Tech was in Atlanta, in Georgia, so I couldn't get there. They couldn't get there. I was, you know what, Virginia Tech, a 4-hour drive. We'll find a way to make that one work. And I just figure it out from there and just know that what God got for me is going to happen. If it's supposed to happen,
It's all good.
I believed in it.
And then you kept your mom's name, so Brenda Vick.
Absolutely.
You and your siblings all kept the Vick name? All your siblings also kept the same Vick name?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So for that,
It was a collective decision.
elected
We
decision.
made that decision together.
Y'all had a meeting.
You taking his name? You know, I ain't doing no, I ain't. But my dad, I love me and my dad got a great relationship to this day. I'm all about forgiveness. People forgave me. I forgive my kids. People forgive me for the things that I do when I'm not always right or wrong or perfect, imperfect. So I love them now more than I did when I was younger.
That's all good.
That ain't come out. That was crazy, but that was real. I mean,
And you bought your mama a house when you were at Virginia Tech, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you really
Not when I was at Virginia Tech.
No,
I
when you
wanna
was
get
in Atlanta.
trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, when
Excuse me.
I left
Excuse
Virginia
me.
Tech.
When you left and were making money in the
Yeah.
NFL. Who were the people around you that were guiding you at that time? So going from high school into Virginia Tech heading off to the NFL, like who were the mentors you had around you at the time?
My high school coach, my college coach, all my coaches in college. I had close friends of mine in the neighborhood. Some that was a little older. Was just helping me like not feel the pressure of of what was happening going on around me. Like not feeling. It kept me grounded. I didn't feel like I needed Jordans or I didn't feel like I needed material things, even though I wanted it so bad. I had enough, and so my talent on the field and just the hard work I was putting into the game of football and that coming out and getting the notoriety that I was looking for, those was the fulfilling things for me. So, my high school coach and those guys was like always giving me good advice. Some of it I used the right way, some of it I didn't, but we all human.
You were probably one of the youngest players you were third from the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah,
to be that close in your freshman year. So you're getting a lot of fame, a lot of attention. I'm assuming also a lot of people just following you and trying to be around you. So curious why, one, you got an offer to play for the Colorado Rockies baseball?
Yeah, I wasn't
that
that good
happen?
in baseball.
It's
I don't
just
know how I got
random.
drafted.
So
Yeah,
they offered you money too?
Yeah, it was enough money to walk away from football in college.
So why'd you
But
stay?
Coach Beamer talked me out of it.
He talked you out of it?
Yeah, he was like, you're going to make so much money in the NFL. And I believed him. I trusted him. But I'm like, Coach, that $25,000, we can use that back home right now. We can really use it. Man, that money would have been gone so fast.
25.
I was going to send 15 to moms, put 5 in 3 months, I'd have been back at ground zero.
So when you're in Virginia Tech, a lot of people talking to you about moving off to the NFL and the constant conversation. Did you think that considering the NFL didn't have too many mobile, dual-threat quarterbacks, a lot of black quarterbacks didn't get the respect they should have gotten? Did you think you would still be playing quarterback in the NFL even when you were at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I just knew it was an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. I know I had to not be great, but I know I just had to not make mistakes. So my goal was to hopefully one day get drafted. Maybe it's the first round, maybe it's the 5th round, maybe it's the 7th round. I just want a shot. I just want a chance. But I knew it all started in the classroom, not failing out of school, and paying attention to what's happening on the field and learning football. And when I first got to college, I didn't know football. I thought I did in high school. I knew nothing. It was a format. It's a formula to playing quarterback, and I had to learn how to play quarterback. And it took about 5 months before I started understanding the structure of what was happening on the field. I know it sounds crazy, but it's really an art to it, and that's why the quarterbacks get paid all the money. It's really the way it's about operation, and so I had to learn the operation, learn how to operate with all these things happening in real time. And I was 19 years old. I was really young, but focused. And, just remember the promises I made to myself, like all the sacrifices to get there. Now I'm here, and this is my moment. I try to enjoy it too, but it went so fast. It happened really fast.
So you're at the draft. We know you got drafted by the Falcons. San Diego was the number one pick in the draft that year. You could have been, if they had picked you, number one, San Diego, and not been in Atlanta.
Yeah.
What was Atlanta like in the 2000s at that time?
Yeah. It was very
It's a
cultural.
leading question.
It was very cultural. When I got there, it was like hip hop was emerging. You got all these young stars that's emerging. The football team wasn't good at all. And I instantly knew because the first preseason game, I'm coming from Virginia Tech where the stands it's just people everywhere. And I get to Atlanta, it's just like one row, just I got to change this. I got to change. Once again, I'm feeling a lot of pressure, immense amount of pressure that I shouldn't be feeling. But, it happens. And so it was motivating. But, Arthur Blank, our owner, showed great leadership. And he brought all of the veteran players and young players and bring us all into one room and talked about how we can change the culture. What can we do to, just make a immediate shift and chart a different path forward. And it was a lot of suggestions being made. He listened. He lowered ticket prices. He lowered them to like maybe $20 or $25. And the next preseason, we walk into the stadium and every single row is filled up. I'm like, this man is a genius. But we needed that energy. I needed that energy and to be able to feed off the crowd to give my best. And so he changed the culture. We knew it was going to have to be a culture change. And there was a lot of people who contributed to that.
And just to call out, your first touchdown was against which team?
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers? Got you. I thought, what was you beat the Cowboys. That was what, your
Rookie
second
year.
game? Just want to get back into.
Where you at?
Just want to call it out. All right.
Jamal, you heard that? What's Jamal? Jamal?
So here's the thing about you being in St. I think time and place mean a lot. And so I think about you being in Atlanta. So I was teaching Atlanta at Kennedy and then at Doug. I taught at the same high school as T.I. And what's interesting is that in Atlanta, so after the 95 Olympics, the world started seeing Atlanta. Atlanta hip-hop started coming out, and so you ended up with Nuck If You Buck by Scrappy, Never Skirt, Get Low, Lil Jon, Whisper Song, Yin Yang, Lean With It, Franchise Boys, Outkast, Usher, Ludacris, So Def, and so on. And I think what's interesting is that time and place, you come in at Atlanta was trying to say something. Hip-hop was trying to say something. The culture was trying to say something. And before that, it was all New York and just West Coast. Philly, we East Coast, but we weren't really a part of that. Same thing with AI being in Philly. Like, the culture embraced both you and AI, both out of Newport. And I think it's because where you were, being in Atlanta, AI being in Philly where I'm from, you had a cultural base that said, like, we want to celebrate black and be unashamed. And so I salute you for what you did as far as style and culture, because you had a Nike deal with people who never saw themselves in the NFL, saw themselves in you. Just like there were little kids getting braids like AI in Philly. How did that feel being a part of the culture the way that you were?
I mean, when you living in it, you just don't know. You just doing you. That's saying. I'm just being myself. I'm vicariously learning from other people. I'm watching Allen. Mm-hmm. He's like a big brother. So, you see your big brother tie his shoes a certain way, put his clothes on a certain way, you're going to do it. He cut his hair a certain way, you're going to try to do it. And so we all learning from one another. I just happened to be in the football world, and he was in the basketball world. And two of us from the same place just transcended the culture. And, obviously we had to be good players as well. That helped. And then you got the mic in front of you all the time. You got cameras on you all the time. And so you get all this free visibility. And thank God there wasn't no social media back then.
We had a Black
imagine
Planet.
that?
Black Planet was the thing back then.
I wouldn't be sitting here with you. No, I'm just playing. I was always trying to do right.
There's a moment at the Super Bowl halftime where Kendrick Lamar is leading and Serena Williams is crip walking. And so a lot of people, like, it's this moment in pop culture, people just look at like Serena's crip walking. A lot of folks don't know is that Serena was crip walking at Wimbledon. Yeah, and Serena got blasted for that because the tennis culture at the time wasn't embracing where she was from.
But she from Compton. Compton got culture.
Exactly. So her doing that at the halftime show was a bigger statement than just I like the song.
Yeah, and she was killing it too.
Yeah, she was killing it.
Them little blue shoes was moving. I caught a glimpse of it. She did her thing. She did it. Yeah. So it was represented.
It was dope how to see you and AI transform basketball to NFL. It's starting to see some other moves in other areas. So you had Tiger was trying to make some changes in golf. You had Serena in tennis. Not the same. Like, we were happy to see black people. I would support everybody. At the same time, the whole culture didn't change like it did for the NFL with you and for AI and basketball. So what's it like? You're in the NFL, able to get money. Came out of the projects in Newport News. And there's no NIL deals back in the day. Like, you couldn't really do the stuff that you can do today. What's it like going from having very little, lots of family, lots of support, lots of friends, but money-wise, very little, to then your first deal was $62 million and then $130 million with your extension? That's like life-changing money. What's that jump from nothing to incredibly amounts of something?
Very hard to explain, but it's easy to comprehend. Like, if everybody in this room got $1 million, you're gonna know what to do with it. You're gonna know what to do with it. Trust me. It was like a dream come true. Like, you really don't have no worries, but instantly you start looking at the people around you who don't have it like you. And so, like, it's a little survivor's remorse that starts to sit in, and, you know, you start to empathize and you start to give. And I'm a big giver. I'm a big giver. I damn near gave away everything. But, hey, you give and you receive. And I'm always receiving blessings. Like, always. So they come in the biggest forms, they come in the smallest forms. And I do things just from the goodness of my heart. I don't give away everything, but I'm just like, yo, I've had my fair share.
It will not be
I'm proud of. I'm very proud of.
It will not be a line after the show. Just so y'all know, he's a big giver, but that was. Just want to save you. This is Delaware, sir. So you're a big giver. Lots of people around you. Lots of attention. A lot of people from Newport that you grew up with are also around you. You're giving to a lot of people around you, and we'll get into in a minute. You were at a point that was your highest high at the time, and then you had your lowest low. So how was the support when you had everything different than the support when you didn't?
You know, when I didn't have everything, I realized when I had everything that some of those people just, you know, they had a good run. And it was like, you know, changes got to be made. You start to see, you know, who your true friends really are. And those are the things that I feel like we should appreciate in life, because sometimes people do things that, or your friends may do something, and you like, man, I can't believe they did that. Yeah, believe it. You know, and it hurts sometimes, but that helps you cater how you got to makes you a better person in a sense. And, you know, at the same time, I might have to shelf you. I might have to just play you at a distance. And I think that's fair to us as human beings and people. Like, people don't understand sometimes when they hurt your feelings. And it's okay, but because they're gonna feel it when you hurt theirs. And that's the get back. So you got to be a little petty sometimes. because we don't like being taken advantage of. We reach our breaking points, and we all know what that's like.
So let's dig into a little bit of your highest highs, and you are not just financially doing quite well, but you're also culturally one of the most well-known athletes on the planet. To then lose it all in 2007. And here's the thing I want to just clear up, because from my point, one, like, Mike, there's a lot of love in this room, right? And so I think for a lot of us, like, we watched it and we saw people react. So the dogfight and the Bad News Kendall and all that stuff took place, and then you were sentenced to 23 months and you served time. Yeah. And what was interesting was a lot of people pretend like you didn't serve time.
That happened.
Yeah, that happened. And so tell me about, what is it like, you go to prison and then you come out and you're in debt with your wife, Kiafa. How does that happen? Like, what's that feeling after you get out of prison?
After I got out of prison, before I went in, my mom kept telling me, moms know best. I will say that. Stop doing what you're doing. Think you're here. You know what I'm saying? You're changing a little bit, growing up, got money. See, I'm going to tell you the bad, too. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no saint. I told y'all earlier, I make my share of mistakes. So, I'm sitting here, but I'm also like, my good friend right there, he'll tell you, like, I'm just thinking I know it all, when really I ain't know nothing. I'm thinking I know. Long story. I ended up going to prison. So, so look. But you asked me what it was like coming out. I came out fresh. Came out a better person. I came out with a clear mind. I came out with goals. Came out with a new network. A new, new different circle. And so I'm proud of that. And then I came to Philly. And that changed my life within itself and the people, and I ain't even got to say it. That's an amazing organization, and I see why they win.
So while you're in prison and starting to move on out, Tony Dungy, you start connecting with him.
Yeah.
What's that relationship like? How did y'all start that relationship? And then how has it blossomed? What's that been like?
It was just through a mutual friend from Atlanta, and I'd known Tony. I've been around him. So he just made it a point that he wanted to come see me. He wanted to come visit. He wanted to come talk to me. And when you're in them situations, you'll talk to anybody. It's tired of talking to them people, them dudes I was around. Like, yo, bro, we ain't talk about nothing. But they, a lot of hardship, a lot of tough nights, and sometimes, you can't tell everybody everything. Tony was a person I could talk to, and I could share my stories, and just I think he came, I was in like month 10, because I was marking it down. I was Xing the days, and, he just he was basically checking the temperature to see if I was rehabilitating myself, and I was, and then after that, more people started coming, and that's when I knew I was about to come home, because I'm like getting a lot of good visits now.
And they probably
keeping me out of there.
They weren't visiting earlier.
Yeah, but I wasn't in like a I don't want to talk about that.
So I don't want to gloss over, because here's the thing. I don't want to spend time in someone's negatives. What did you learn from that experience? So we all saw the news in the media. You went to prison for it, and you came out, and you were also speaking about animal rights, and you were speaking about things you want to do. Now you're years past that. So how do you see that experience now versus years ago when you were first going through it?
Yeah, I mean, I started to realize like what I was doing was pointless, and from the habits that I grew up with in my neighborhood, I told y'all the good, not the bad. Said didn't want to be a product of my environment, but I was a product of the environment. We was doing that, and then I got grown, and we was still doing it. And it's like, bro, come on now, you got all of, you worked hard and you got to where you at, and you still like doing the same stuff that you was doing when you was 9, really. And it led to and God put me in a position to be in front of young men and women and showing them the path and showing them the way. And you doing that. So it's crazy how God worked. As soon as I turned the corner, as soon as I was like, yo, this ain't for me, this pointless, I don't want nothing to do with it, it was too late. Too many people was involved, so many people knew, so many people went down, and you just sink with the ship. And so when the ship was sinking, I was like, they said the captain got to go down with the ship. I really wasn't thinking that. I was like, wish I could save myself. But I know what I did. I know man, yeah, just like, yo, let's just get this over with. I made it worse on myself, too, because I was only going to get like a year in the day, which is like 10 months. I'd have made it back to a second season, but I was not really depressed. I made an excuse saying I was depressed, but I was just doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing while I was on pretrial release. And it's like, you're not going to learn, my wife telling me. And then I end up getting an extra year. That's how I end up doing 2 years. So that was self-inflicted.
That's
deep.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think watching you come out, I think it was your $10,000 in debt.
That's $10,000.
It was $1,000. There was reports that you were in debt when you came out of prison.
Yeah, it was way more than that.
Oh, well.
It's way more than that.
A little bit more.
Jeez,
So you in debt.
Please.
Here's the question. The question is how
I got a butt.
$130 million, then down to in debt. You come out to Philadelphia, and you're looking for a new space. And I know you've been having different conversations. What's different about you, 2009, meeting Andy Reid, coming into a brand new set where you grew up being Mike Vick, who went through high school, went through Virginia Tech, and then went to the Falcons. You were always on an upward trajectory. You had your downfall, and then had to come back to be a backup quarterback. How hungry were you at the time? Because I would say, I don't think we'd be here today if there weren't a 2009 story after.
Oh, well, I grew up in an environment that I wanted to get out of, and it was like that close to going back. I mean, if you think about it, if I don't get those opportunities, where do I go? I did 2 years of college, and I left college early as a sophomore, then graduate and have a degree. Where do I go? And I was studying criminal justice, but, so everything must go. Everything got to go. So where do you go? So I was afraid of that. So the fire started burning again. And the whole time I can't really say when I was gone, I was missing football, I was missing my family, I was missing life, I was missing my freedom. And that's when I learned that my freedom meant more to me than anything, because I was like, I'd rather have no money and just be able to wake up every day with an opportunity to go make something of myself than to be sitting in here trying to think about what's going on in the world. And so, yeah, it was, just being afraid to fail all over again. I had the right mentors and the right people in my life, from Tony Dungy to Andy, to people who was checking in on me and making sure that I was keeping a level head and not going, not regressing.
So you go to Philly, where that was a team. I've heard you say in a few interviews that if it weren't for Philly, you'd had a Super Bowl facing McNabb, the NFC Championship.
Yeah, Andy.
Yep. And now you going to the team that kept you from getting that, and you about to be on that squad. We appreciate you for coming.
Yeah.
What was that
Thank them
reception
for
like
bringing me
in Philly? So what was the reception? You come out, and again, you've already served your time. A lot of people, by the way, never serve time for stuff, and we still waiting for them to go. I'm not saying no names, but you served your time, which means in society, then we should start off with a clean slate because you did that. What was it like in Philly, you coming out? What was the media saying? What were people around you saying? Like, what was the conflict?
It's like coming here, I just felt protected. Like I really wanted to come back and just pick up where I left off. I wanted my shoe back. All these things I was thinking was just not gonna happen. I wanted to start for a team. Was super out of shape. All these things that I thought I was capable of, I really just needed some time. I needed some time to just get myself together and just replenish. And so coming here, I felt protected. Donovan was here. I didn't have to play. They was going to allow me to get myself back in playing shape, which I was just out of shape. They took the weights when I first got in. They took the weights. So that was a story within itself. And I just needed some time. And the time I got, and then the next year, I was ready.
I got a few more questions. We're going to go into Q&A and move on out. So you're in Philly. McNabb helps you. He's one of the advocates for you to come.
Yeah.
You end up replacing him. What was that like? Slowly, because I know you replaced Kevin Cobb after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I replaced him. I think it was a mutual understanding, I guess, amongst the team and Donovan that, they just part ways. Sometimes everything has a shelf life. And I think, sometimes all good things come to an end, I feel like, sometimes. And it was just time for both sides to move on. They had drafted a young quarterback. So I wasn't there to replace him. So Kevin Cobb got hurt. Mm-hmm. Then I end up going in. But I was just so ready. The fuel was burning. Like, it was just a hunger inside of me. I needed to get back to where I was at one point in my life. I just knew what that was like, and I knew my family deserved that I robbed them of. Imagine just getting your most prized possession and just having it taken away from you. I felt like I did that to them, and that wasn't fair because I brung us to that point, and then to abruptly just have everything go away, I felt like that just wasn't fair to my family. So I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get it back. It took a lot of sacrifice too.
And it paid off. You became comeback player of the year, $100 million, moved back up from going from 130 down to nothing and back up $100 million. Not many people get to have that second chance, like that second story. So that's huge for you to do that. And also give us the moment of the miracle at the Meadowlands with your fellow Dell State in the house. There we go.
Nice.
So Deshaun Jackson now at Dell State, you at Norfolk State. What is taking place with you? I'm seeing black athletes get back into HBCUs. Yeah. I'm a professor at Dell State University, so we appreciate y'all.
Nice.
What do you want to do, like at Norfolk State?
I want to teach young men how to be men. First and foremost, I got to take myself out of the equation. So as I take responsibility for all these young men, I know what it was like for my coaches to pour into me every day and be a father figure and just take those young men who are the ones who want, they want the best for themselves and just give them the game and just teach them to be good men, good football players, and hopefully they go on and do something amazing with their life. And, each one teach one mentality and just be leaders.
I appreciate that. We're about to move into Q&A. Carl has the microphones in the back on the podium. You got your people? All right. So we're about to get to the Q&A. They're coming over here. I got to ask you, so at Norfolk State, you ran a 4.3. No, I'm sorry. You ran a 4.3 in the draft. And then you said, you told Shannon Sharp you could do a 4.6, is what you were working on. My question
That
for
ain't
you
no good.
is, do you plan on, if the players don't play well, you might just put on a uniform and go out there?
Oh, no. Every time I try to take off, I pop something or pull something. Or, like, I tried to do Run Rich Run a couple years ago, which is like a charity 40-yard dash. And I tore my hamstring so bad. I was just like, I instantly realized how long 40 yards was. When I took off running, it was like when I was young, it just happened like that. And it's just not for me to be doing.
40 yards after 40 is a little bit different.
Yes.
For the microphones, where are you? Microphone over there. We got a few questions. There you go. Oh, by the way, let me just give this disclaimer. Your question should be a question, which means at the end of your question, we should hear your inflection of, oh, because it's a question mark, and not you tell us your life story. All right? So,
That's all right, too.
questions.
I'm a good listener.
My voice is a little crazy after the game Sunday, so just excuse me. But
Go Birds.
my question is, going to Norfolk, you and Deshaun going to DSU, and seeing what Deion did at Jackson State, what is the goal of having more HBCU students and athletes go into the draft and be drafted and looked at as perennial places where elite athletes can come out of? Like, how do you change that, and how do you get the best out of each player and the media to look at HBCUs as places where they could get good athletes out of?
Yeah, hopefully just with our platforms, myself and Deshaun and what Deion did for Jackson State, we can bring enough notoriety to HBCUs to let young men and women know, like, it's okay to go to a HBCU. And you get great education, you meet great people, you foster good relationships, and in our case, you're going to get taught good football and good principles. And I think that's really important. So, I took this step with that in mind, forward thinking. Hopefully, it's 4 or 5 coaches in the next 4 or 5 years who try to follow in the same footsteps that Deion made us believe that we can follow in. And so, I'm always about each one teaching one, and so I just got to go do it right. It's one thing to take the job, but you got to go win.
Next question.
All right. Well, hey, Mike, I want to say you've been instrumental in my life and my son's life. When I was a single mom, we used to use you as if he made honor roll or straight A's. We stood in line to see you at Modell's back in the day. But my question is, for your comeback, what was the actual mindset shift? Like, was there a technique or a formula that you used? You mentioned that quarterbacks have formulas.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little bit of that?
Yeah, well, it started out with a plan, and the plan started like a year before, and I just wrote down all these ideas. It was like 15 things that I wanted to accomplish. Once I got back to freedom, and I got my life back, and I was like, if on this sheet of 15, if I can accomplish 6 or 7, that'll suffice. That'll do it for me. And it wasn't in sequence. It was just like however it come, however, it's presented to me and where the opportunities come from. And I really feel like patience is everything, even though it's hard to have patience. And like some people hear that word and you just be like, man, I hate that word because we don't have it. But, sometimes I feel like stillness is the key. And I just let it come to me. And I think from that sheet of 15, I probably accomplished about 13 of those things. 2 of them I'm still trying to accomplish, but it's going to take the help of some major corporations and some people to continue to believe. And so it wasn't just me. It was the team of people I was putting around me as well.
Coach Vick, I just want to say thank you for coming to NSU. I'm a former player from 92 through 94. And hopefully you bring stability there. Ever since I've been involved with Norfolk State, we done had 10 head coaches. You are 10th one. And you can't build a program without having stability.
Right.
So I hope that you stay. you're going to have all our support. I'm going to talk to all the former teammates. When we tailgate, we're going to support you. We're going to donate. We're going to do everything we can to make you successful. And just one well, I used to coach at Norfolk State, and one of my mentors was Coach Raymond. So tell me about well, Coach Raymond was a high school coach at Ward.
Coach Raines, I got you.
Yes. So he was at Ward, but, you know, he taught me a lot about football. And I remember we was recruiting you at that time at Norfolk State. So just tell me about your high school coach.
Yeah, my high school coach was amazing. He was one of the. I was afraid of him. You know, one, he set an example really early. Me and some of my friends, we was catching the bus up to as freshmen to go work out and try out for the team, and I could tell he was. I look back and he was watching us. He was monitoring us. Who's showing up? Who's on time? And one of my friends came late 2 days in a row, and then he missed a day. And then on that fourth day when we came back, he just told him, don't even come back. And he told him, like, leave now. Go catch the bus. I'm like, I don't even know if he had bus money. He made him go. He made him leave. And instantly I was like, okay, I know I missed 2 days and I come late. He gonna make me leave. And I thought that was bold. I thought it set an example. It showed me that he was serious and he wasn't playing. And this football thing, take it serious when you get on that bus and you come up here. Don't just come in here and feeling like acting like you got all the answers. And so I felt like he set an example early. And then it was one semester when my grades had dropped. You know, this after 2 years, and now we got a great relationship. I'm a growing young man. I'm asking more questions. We getting to know each other, and my grades dropped because of so many other things that I probably was into. And he didn't talk to me for a whole semester. And he walked past me every day like he didn't know me. I'm like, yo, I'm the quarterback for your football team. You trust me with the ball in my hands, but, Coach, I get it. He didn't talk to me again until my GPA the next semester. I felt the energy, and I just wanted to make it right. I knew he was doing it for a reason. And for him to be that bold and to walk past me every day when I knew he loved me so much it showed me how much he really cared.
We got one last question right here. So no pressure, but this should be a really good question.
Excuse me, sir, that
Mr.
won't
McCall.
be the last question.
That won't be?
No, it won't.
Oh, we're going to get the baby next. Okay, so go ahead, sir.
All right. First of all, thank you for being here. Favorite quarterback of all time. I'll just say that first. My question is, with the Celebration Bowl, you play the MEAC winner versus the SWAC championship winner. But also, with the same token, you forfeit your automatic bid to play in the 1AA playoffs. Do you think the Celebration Bowl should continue, or should it be canceled, or should they continue the Celebration Bowl but push it earlier so that you guys still have a chance to play in the 1AA playoffs?
Yeah, I think they should push it earlier, you know what I'm saying, so we have a window. You know, I think the Celebration Bowl is like late December. It's like middle of December. I went this past year. It's part of the reason I ended up taking the job at Norfolk State. I was able to, I know this is not answering your question, but it was a good question, and I think I gave you my answer early. But I instantly realized the impact that I could have at a HBCU, and I was just having conversations with them at the time. And going to the Celebration Bowl this past year, speaking at South Carolina State and Jackson State, I just learned a lot about HBCUs in a short period of time, which helped me make my decision. But yeah, definitely push it up, for sure.
To the young man right here.
There he is.
Who was the scariest person you played in the NFL?
The scariest person, Ray Lewis. I'm scared of Ray, man.
Okay. This is the last question, okay?
What?
Yeah, I saw a Ravens fan jump up. He meant off the field, not on the field. There you go. All right.
Since you're now taking over Norfolk, and I have a son that plays for Norfolk, I want to know, going back to your high school and your college years, it's a two-parted. When did you realize you were the man? Number two, you said you came out during your sophomore year in college.
Early.
What advice would you give young men today if they wanted to come out of college early, if they were getting drafted?
I think right now, that's a good question. A publicist told me not to say that. She said, don't say, still getting media training after all these years. And she was like, don't say that's a good question. So, but it was a good question. You know, with all the opportunities they have now with the NIL and, you know, chances to make money and brand themselves, it depends on the situation and depends on where you at. It depends on the amount of money that you're being offered. But it's nothing like the college experience as well. But it's also in the same breath, nothing like taking care of your family and being able to support your household and support your mom, the people who pour into you, who you might watch. Just give it everything, you know what I'm saying? Because our inspiration comes through our moms, I would say, their moms and dads, and watching them work hard and watching them sacrifice. It really means a lot. So a lot of things to be taken into consideration, and that's why I think it'll be up to the parents and the guardians to really help young men make those decisions, because they are life-changing decisions. And when you make that decision to go to the NFL or forfeit your collegiate status, it's really no going back unless you get lucky. So stay proactive, Mom, and when that decision comes, you know, we'll talk about it.
That was a good last question. So I'm going to just level set. One, there will not be a receiving line for Mike Vick. So we can give him his flowers here. But before we go, we're going to do one big selfie. And, Mike, we know you retired as a Falcon. But you in Eagles country right now. So we're going to do one big Eagles chant. Yeah, back to, all right. We're going to do one big Eagles chant. Mike, can you stand up and do one big selfie right here? And we'll have the whole crowd right here. You can stand up. You can be in it. If you're not an Eagles fan, God bless you. But feel the energy, because we about to do this on Friday in Philadelphia, all right? So just giving y'all a heads up, we're going to do, and by the way, we're going to spell it right because we're in Delaware and not the mayor of Philly. So, on the road to victory, fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
You said that with conviction.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. If you can't help me, please clear this building out.
myself together.